Hello, viewers. Welcome to MBTV Weekly Property Roundup. We bring to you top developments from Indian real estate space, which is going to have a lasting impact on you as consumers. I'm Prasun Kumar, Marketing Head of Magicbricks, and with me is Jayashree Kurup, Senior Real Estate Journalist and Editor-in-Chief of MBTV. Welcome, Jayashree.
Thanks, Prasun.
So, Jayashree, last week we spoke about this entire Lotus Panache and Boulevard thing, and how completion of this is now left to the insolvency person there. Now, the news comes that about 3,500 Panache and Boulevard buyers are now voting as we speak to select firm for completing their flats.
Yes.
What is the significance of this development?
This is the committee of creditors, and they have to vote. There are three people who have said that they will build the units. Now, the COC votes on whom they want. Very similar to what happened in JP and all that, where Suraksha was there and NBCC was there. So the Council of Creditors gets to vote which is the developer they want to execute the project. This means that it can move forward. Remember, we did a show in MBTV where the developers are trying to complete their projects along with the whoever the chosen developer is. So this is one step forward. I think it is towards completion of those projects.
Sure. And since on JP, NBCC was interested with the entire process, what's the progress on that? Has that moved forward from there?
Yes, there is some marginal progress. The NBCC still wants some waiver of certain things, and the Supreme Court has to give it to them. But there is some movement on the ground.
Okay, all right. Now, in another news, Jayashree, UP has Uttar Pradesh has decided to slash compounding charges to regularize extra construction. What are these extra construction all about, and what is this compounding charge on those construction?
This is very similar to the unauthorized colonies that are being legalized in Delhi. The UP government is saying that instead of breaking down, now you see they've allowed a lot of illegal construction to happen. They are now saying that you pay the penalties and regularize whatever extra construction you've done. But this is not applicable to those projects that are on illegal land and where there is grabbed land.
Okay.
But they will allow completion of projects. There are compounding fees to be paid and regularization. मान लो जैसे one floor was extra. If structural audit and so on is done and it's cleared, then we can finish.
Okay, all right. Okay. Now, a very interesting development happened in Noida and NCR region, where builders have started offering property swap schemes, right, to consumers of stalled projects. Now, what is this swap scheme all about, and what should exactly consumers be looking forward to from these things so that they do not burn their fingers again?
Prasun, I would give the consumer some advice here. If you're going for a swap scheme, please make sure that you're swapping into a project that is completed. Okay. Because even if it is a project that is incomplete, remember that we live in very uncertain times. Yes. Even with the RERA in place, we don't know how much more time is going to be given to the developers to complete the projects because the on-ground situation has been bad. They could not construct in these since March 21st, I think. So as a result, I would still advise consumers that if you are already in a stressed project, please do not go into another project that has the possibility of being stressed. Please buy something, get into a project that is complete. You get your unit, you stay in, right? You register and you stay.
Ready to move in is your preference over there.
Do take only ready to move in projects, because yesterday we were doing a survey of the market and we found that there is still a lot of uncertainty. Yeah. Even the regulators can't do anything because of the extraordinary circumstances that we are in, right? With COVID. So please consider completed projects if you want to exit a problematic buy. The second thing is that many of these come from aggregators like brokers, large brokerage houses, and so on, who work with multiple developers. If one developer has completed projects and another, and then consumers come and say, "Look, I'm stuck with developer A, B, C, whatever." They are allowing the swap to happen where suppose you have paid, say, 30% of the money or 80% or 90%. The property is valued at the time when you bought it. For instance, you bought it in 2009, 2010, 2015. Whenever you bought it, whatever that value of that property was, stated value of that project was, that is what is going to be considered, not today's value.
Okay.
If you've paid 70%, that means you've paid 70% of whatever the negotiated value then was. And that is what is going to be considered. The aggregator is also going to take us 9 to 10% service charge, which means that you are going to pay that 10% service charge over that. But the flip side is that you pull your head out of the noose of a project where completion is a big problem,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So they get a completed unit. Whatever money you paid, some part of it is adjusted. All of it is adjusted, but remember that it's indexed to a earlier time and not to today's time. So you do lose some amount of money there because you've paid interest and things like that. These are the few things that have to be kept in mind. I would also say that we've got a consumer here who has written that he's waiting for the last 10 years for his flat booked in 2010 Eco One Supertech. Now, people like Supertech are also offering swaps. But unfortunately, I feel that what they are offering is they are asking these consumers to go and swap their completed projects in Yamuna Expressway. I am pretty sure that Mr. Badrinath is not looking at living in Yamuna Expressway, which is a futuristic destination, not today's destination. Please insist, if you're completing swapping your project with your own developer, please insist that it is in a place which is livable and which is complete. Developers like Supertech do have completed units lying in the city projects. Negotiate with them for that. And we find that developers are using this opportunity to not give the city flats, but give the peripheral flats or the very expensive flats which are not moving in the market.
So from a consumer point of view, Jayashree, a consumer bears the extra cost, much like a penalty of sorts.
Yeah.
For posing trust with developer A, and developer A not building the flat and not building the project, and so consumer has to pump in some extra money now to move into maybe a ready to move in flat, and the person can get a property at least by paying something extra. But the good part of that is his investment that was already made, which is almost junk if the developer A doesn't build, gets into comes into consideration, and that gets realized. The value of that gets realized.
And also the interest that you paid in this period, I don't think anyone's taking it into consideration. So consumer loses the interest that was paid over this period of time.
Sure. So.
But we are talking to the RERA authorities, we're talking to various authorities to figure out, we believe that the developer A, with whom the consumer reposed his trust when buying, should definitely compensate the consumer for this differential.
Right, sure. And I think this is an important enough topic for Jayashree for you to really do a show on, or do you plan a show on this topic?
Prasun, we have a show. There is a show happening on Friday. So we would like consumers to Thursday or Friday, do check on MBTV. We have a show happening tomorrow, which we would urge consumers to come and join in great numbers, because we have the experts, the lawyers, the financiers, all taking part in our show. So do join in our show and discuss this matter further.
Sure. So consumers, please do take note of that and do participate in this. Another news that came, Jayashree, was issuing of guidelines for COVID centers in gated housing societies.
Yeah.
Right? How important is that, and why was that necessitated?
The number of COVID cases that are happening, which require self-quarantine, which don't require hospitalization, but you do need to distance yourself from sometimes other family members who are not infected. That's where the authorities have actually asked the RWAs to create COVID care quarantine centers in those places that are not currently being utilized, the gyms, the clubhouses, and so on. And RWAs have actually stepped in. Our correspondent from Bangalore, Priyanka Rachaya, has actually done a show. Do check it out, because the BBMP has laid down strong guidelines on what the RWAs should be doing, and they are considering the RWAs as the fourth tier of their government, the fourth or fifth tier of their government, which means that you have the center, you have the state, you have the city, and then you have the RWAs, who are the volunteers, the volunteer forces for the government on the ground during the COVID times.
Okay, so it's like civic participation in managing the entire shortage of beds issues and everything.
That's right.
All right. Coming back to the uncompleted projects and stressed projects, Jayashree, special situation funds and NBFCs, it seems, are very keen to invest in stressed real estate in India. So, what are the way forwards for this, and what is stopping it really?
No, this is a new interest that has come post-COVID. There's a lot of funds that want to invest in India, and India is right now a hot enough destination. In our stressed projects, I think 75% of the projects are such that they are cash flow positive. So all they need is a last mile fund infusion to complete this stuck projects. Then the authorities are giving them extra FAR. There is you can get a fully running project if you have that last mile funding. This is why the 25,000 crore project was created, but not much has come out of that, because any alternate investment fund should actually be taking the stress. They should be taking the risk. But SBI caps, for various reasons, has still been very conservative in its lending, so hardly any lending has happened. Now, other funds, private funds, are coming in. Roughly about 35,000 crore has expressed the intent to come to India to provide that last mile funding. What really needs to be done, and Prasun, this is important as a lending principle, the last in, first out principle, which means that somebody who brings the last mile funding has to come in, get the project completed, get their money, and go on to the next one. Whereas the existing lenders who could have sorted out the problems during the interim have not done it. They have to wait till the project is, there is enough funds, and they have to take a haircut. The existing lenders are not letting the last mile funds come in and get out with there. There needs to be some intervention either from the RBI or the NHB or something like that, so that can become a reality. And I think that is where everything hinges.
All right. And in the last bit of news, Jayashree, for last week, Kolkata civic body is likely to waive about 100% interest on property tax dues. How is it going to benefit consumers?
The city authorities are spending a lot on COVID care. Every city authority, while there is some money coming from the center, some facilitation happening, the finances of cities are under strain. For a long time, the Kolkata Municipal Corporation has been offering a 50% discount on the interest rates and all that for people defaulters. But that hasn't had so much takers. Now they are planning to make it 100% and say that there's no penalty. Just pay your dues and get your this thing clear. The funds will start flowing into the civic authorities, and at the time when they need money, this is their way of making up liquidity and giving the consumers the benefit.
All right. So this is it, viewers, for this week. Remember, there are two important shows coming up that Jayashree spoke about, one on Thursday, one on Friday. Do log in. They are of much interest to you, and very important topics will be touched upon. Till keep watching MBTV and stay tuned in.
Thank you.